Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the live show. I hope everybody had a great day, even though that was a big sea of red right there. Holy cow, that was a red market. But we did still have some crazy poppers like NUKK, PLRZ, QUBT, some of the quantum ones, and some other ones. So there were things popping still, even in that sea of red. And I mean, it was red. So we'll go through everything, see if it's going to be bouncing back. What's going on here? So let's take a look at the market. All information presented here is for educational and informational purposes only. It's not intended as financial advice, so always do your due diligence. Here we go. Let's just start rolling through these. Look at them. I'm sure a lot of them are probably going to have a pullback look after today, and but we'll take a look and see what they kind of look like going forward. So that's what we're worried about. It did pull back about everything today. So TNXP was up like 3 cents. Now this one ran up crazy yesterday. It is trying to curl back up though, so we'll keep an eye on it and see if it actually wants to really get rolling back up. And again, it ran up to 194 yesterday, so that was a crazy one. And I'm not so sure it wanted to. I bet if the market wasn't so red today, it might have got moving a little more since it did move about 3 cents. But we'll take a look at that and see if it does want to cruise. PLAY, that's Dave and Buster's. That did pull back with the rest of them. A lot of them did go up in the after hours, but not like they pulled back today. But yeah, Dave and Buster's was looking decent right there, but also pulled back like 274. And honestly, they're all coming right back down to that bottom and can easily bounce. So we'll go through them all, look at them, see what we're looking at, and it's probably going to be a great place to start buying them as soon as they're ready to bounce up. And whether it's tomorrow or next week, we'll get a good idea as we go through all these. So we'll rock and roll. PW, this one did pull back just a hair. It's probably trying. It might be trying to bottom out there. PW, it's maybe trying to make that base now. So we'll keep an eye on it. And again, we looked at it when it was at its high was 228 that day. So it's pulled back and it will get cruising. But again, we didn't want to jump in it when it was up at 228 its high. And today it's at 110, 112 right now. So that's a much better price. So now we can start actually looking at it, see when it wants to curl up, and then boom, there you go with PW. So we'll keep an eye on that. And Rhyme, RIME, let's take a look at this RIME and see what it's doing this today. It was up a little bit. I know that it was trying to get cruising, and it probably would have ran up a little bit more. It ran up yesterday and then pulled back. If you remember, it did run up to that 20 at 17 cents. Today it went 8 to 10. It's at 9. It crossed through and it looks good. So I would keep an eye on that RIME. And some of these penny ones are probably going to try to run if the market and the big caps are down, because that's generally how it works. The big caps will dip and then the money runs into the penny stocks and they start cruising. So LGHL, the good old lion here. And that was up a little bit today. It was in a good spot. It was up yesterday. And I'm telling you, this thing's ready to get rocking and rolling and running. Somebody's about to let the lion out of its cage right here. So keep an eye on this thing. It's at 18 cents today. And it says 19 and a half on here, but 18 on mine. Had over 8 million in volume. So that's pretty good right there. And that is Lion Group holding LGHL. And again, this lion is about to get running. So take a look at it. And also that cheetah, the CTNT, we'll take a look at that one real quick. That's another big cat right here. Not a big cat, but a big cat. And so this is the cheetah, CTNT, and it looks like it wants to curl off the MACD and get running. So keep an eye on this cheetah because it looks really good. CTNT looks like it wants to get cruising tomorrow as well. And JagX, the other one, the old Jaguar, was looking better last night, but pulled back today like 8 cents. Yep, it did. It was down 8 cents. At least that's where it finished. And it did curl down there. So JagX, out of the three cats, did some nice pullback here. But it did come back, it looks like, to that bottom, 84 today. Today's low is 84, so maybe it's going to try to get bouncing. If not, it's really going to pull back here and hit that bottom. So we'll keep an eye on the Jaguar Health JagX. And that is your three big cats report right there. We should have like a veterinarian sponsor that. That would be hilarious. XTIA, here we go. XTIA. This one, it was just sitting there flat today. Let's put it that way. As everything was trying to pull back, this was just kind of sitting there, just hanging out. So nothing crazy. It's in a good spot. It kept itself over to 20, and it does still want to run. At least looks like it wants to. So keep your eye on it. It's out of the basement, just flat right there. And XTIA still looking good right there. So let's look at that HAO and see what that's doing. HAO. That one is just kind of running around. It was trying to curl off that MACD, and then it ran up a little bit today. Let's see what it did. 13 to 14, back to 12, and it's at 13. So it opened and closed just around the same price, and just ran around like a penny each way. So it's just kind of hanging out down here. Same thing, trying to set up the run. And this is one of them China small caps, so we'll keep an eye on it. HAO, and it's just, like I said, bouncing around down there. FAMI pulled back, but I'm telling you, this thing is setting up down here. So we'll watch for this bottom, and we'll see if it's down here at what, 26 cents, and we're at 28, I believe. It's around 28 right now, 30 actually. So yeah, FAMI's looking good, and it's going to get set up. So keep an eye on that. FAMI, because that's looking decent right there. And CDT, let's look at that Conduit Pharmaceuticals, because it is dipping down right here, and it looks like it might try to hit that bottom. CDT, so keep an eye on it. It's a real nice dip situation, and this could be a little dip and rip. It was at 9, opened up at 9, got down to 6, and it's at 7. So we'll check that one out and see if it wants to get bouncing. SNSE, this at Sensei Biotherapeutics. Again, this one's in a great spot. It was trying to curl up yesterday, and again, if this market didn't get crushed today, this thing would have been probably popping off, but it still looks good. It's still getting set up there. 46 to 48, came down to 43, and it's at 47. So, or yeah, it's at 47. So that's Sensei Biotherapeutics at SNSE, and it is trying to get set up to get moving. It's in a pretty good spot here, and it just has to kind of get back over that 49, even say 50 cent area. It'll really get cruising there, and say it's at 47. So it's right there where it can get bumped up and then get cruising. So that is SNSE and TPST. Oh, TPST. There we go. Tempest Therapeutics was pulled back today, and it got right into the basement. And this one was trying to set up in a great spot too. And then obviously today was a different story. So we'll have to keep an eye on it. And it may just bounce right back out of the basement. That could be a nice dip and rip down to 69 today. It's back at what, 75 in the after hours. So we'll keep an eye on this TPST. And again, the market conditions just weren't really favoring everything today. Some of the small caps did get moving, but other ones did pull back. Like this one, it was all over the place. So we'll run through, see what we like, what we don't, and then we'll attack what's good. So that's TPST, and it was setting up. And again, could have that dip and rip situation. RGTI. This one ran up this morning and pull back, and that was what was crazy. They were running up this morning, and then they did pull back. So it opened at 1137, got up to 1275, and now it's at 1013. It came down to 991. So it is at 1013, and we'll have to see how the market opens tomorrow for these guys. It's still in the top there and didn't look like it wants to jump out. So we'll have to look at it. RGTI, see if it wants to just bounce back up. QUBT ran like an animal. We said it was going to run again, and it sure did. QUBT 20 to 27.15. It's at 23.17 right now. So that one's still in the top. Could it pull back? It could. But again, market conditions will probably dictate what that wants to do. So we'll keep an eye on that. But that was a major runner today. In QBTS, that D-Wave Quantum ran up some today, and that's still in the top there. QBTS, and that went 855 to 1050. And again, still in the top up there, still not looking bad. So we'll keep an eye on these quantum ones because they could still be moving. QS QMCO. This one ran up about 36, over $36. This one went nutty. This is the one that we said was looking pretty good yesterday, and it went from 24.19 to 65.25, and it's at 52.44. So that is Quantum Corp QMCO, and it was looking pretty good. It was in the top, and then it just wanted to stay in there, and it's sure they run up in the top when they get up here. If they want to stay, they have that look, and boom, they run. So that one had that look, and it did it. And QTUM, this was down, and this is the Quantum ETF. They're all up, but this one pulls back a little bit. Makes no sense, but it did, and it's still in the top. Could bounce right back up. So. And like I said, they never even left the top, so we'll see what it wants to do. Just has a weird look. Could be the top. Who knows? Especially with that big dip. So we'll pay attention to these tomorrow as well and see if they want to keep running up. And that IONQ did pull back, and that one ran up a little bit this morning as well. I remember it was up, 42.04 to 44.99. And then came back to 36.06. It's at 38.45. So that's IONQ. And again, we'll keep our eye on it, and maybe it'll pull back a little bit more into the 34s. We'll see, and get set up again. But yeah, we'll take a look at them tomorrow. And Lucid, LCID, this did pull back. It's going to set back up. Your 20 and 50 are going to meet. So let it hit that resistance around 244, even if it pulls back into the 230 somewheres. It'll still be pretty safe, I would say. So I think Lucid's still okay, but again, we still have to see how the market opens tomorrow. I'm just telling you what they look like at the moment, going off of this dip from today and everything kind of pulling back. So I'm not sure they're going to crash. But I'm telling you, it's going to correct itself if it doesn't this time, and it doesn't bounce back up. Or if it does bounce back up and gets back to normal, it will correct itself relatively soon. So that's why I say do not chase these things when they get in the top, because it's dangerous. You can see what happens a day like today. You're in trouble when they start pulling back like that. So that is why you want to have them at the bottom, just in case they're run up and they do pull back. You're still fine, and you're not chasing them at the top, because if they pull back, you're not fine. So that's Lucid LCID, and again, just some pullback. Looks like it wants to go back up, but again, we'll have to take a look at it. And that Quantum Space QS, we were looking at that. That ran up today and came down. So that was way up at one point, 526 to 587, and it came down to 502. It's at 512. So definitely ran up today, and still looks pretty good. Just looks like it ran up and pulled back. It's in a great spot, QS. So keep an eye on that as well, because that one's actually looking decent right there. And that SPGC, let's see, SPGC is at Saks Parente Golf, and this one's just getting set up. It's down there trying to curl up. It was up 3 cents, it looks like, in the after hours. Let me see, SPGC, it's at 35 cents, so 31 to 37, and came down to 28, but it closed at 35. And again, one that we talked about last night, and it does want to move. It did look like it just on FinViz, it was just kind of just curling up still, but didn't look like it really jumped up that much. But their high, it does say 33, and it's sitting at, its high was 37. And again, I totally trust my trend spiders charts. You guys know that. I mean, they are just on the money all the time. They just blow away every other service. I don't care what anybody says. I've looked into every single one of them, and I'm telling you, the Trend Spider, not only are the prices super accurate, the charts are amazing. You can build your own charts, you can build your own scanners, and they have bots. I mean, they're just so far ahead in technology from everybody else. It's not even close. And again, I think they're charting services even better than TradingView. I know TradingView is a little bigger and more popular, but I think TrendSpider blows that out of the water, and it's a much better platform. I never bought the TradingView before, never paid for it, but I've used it, and you have to use it for certain sites. Like 3 Commas uses it for certain things, and there's other things that just use the TradingView. But I'm telling you, I wish they would use the trending or the TrendSpider, because because it's way better. I'm telling you, it's amazing. So anyway, that's just Trend Spider, and I have to go with them numbers because that's why when I looked at it at first, it didn't look that great. But then as soon as I pulled up my chart, looks much better. And we were looking at it, and I was surprised it didn't look better on FinViz because we knew it was getting set up. And it is one of these small caps that wasn't going to get beat down today. So you can kind of tell when they're already beat down, they're going to kind of curl up. They might not get cruising as well, but they're going to get moving some. So just because the setup is so strong that you know it's going to move some, and again, might not move as hard because it's the money's not flowing as much, but it will get moving some just because that setup's everything. So anyway, that's SPGC, and again, it is looking good, and that is Sax Parente Golf Inc. And here we go at SBFM. This one was setting up the other day, I remember, and then just kind of took a nice dip yesterday down the 251 area. It's trying to get curled up here. It looks like SBFM. Let me see. Yeah, that 20 and 50 are meeting. And I bet if today wasn't such a crazy day, it looks like it got over it too. It did at like 284. Yeah, it got up to that 284. It's got to get right there to 284. And once it gets up there and stays, it's going to bounce. So that's SBFM, and it was touching it today. It got up to it. That was its high, so that's exactly where you need to get it to. And it is crossed down on the MACD, but it could easily come crawling back up and get moving. So that's SBFM, and we'll keep an eye on that one. Maxon, what we talked about last night, this one was up today and definitely ran up pretty good. I know that. It was 618 to 736, and it's at 650 right now. So came up and hit that 20, hit the resistance. It's still curling up and looks good. So I would assume that it's going to get running. I don't know how high it's going to run, but it will run. And it recently ran up to what, that 1449 not long ago on November 13th. And if it has to get back over that 776 area, and it can get cruising again. So that's MAXN, Maxon, and that one's looking pretty decent. Again, we looked at it last night. It was looking good. It popped up today. Let's look at that SAVA, because this one is setting up down here. It's curled through, and your 20's way up there at $7. We're at 241, but this is trying to curl up. So or set up, I mean, trying to set up here. So let me just keep an eye on it and get the signal for this to try to move, because it keeps looking like every day is the bottom. I mean, every single day the last what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the last week, 6 days, trading days, every day look like the bottom. So let me see if when the bottom's there, and we'll try to catch this bad boy on the way up, because it took a major dip, and so we'll want to get on that train when it rides up. And that's SAVA. And how about Uber, UBER? This one, remember, took that dip into the basement. We were looking at it yesterday. It appears to be that bottom at 59.33. Today it just kind of ran around. It opened up at like 61.39, closed around 61.23. So let me just look at it on mine real quick to get a better look. But yeah, it's right there. And again, it closed and opened right around the same spot, but curling up. Uber looks better. And we were looking at it. So I think yesterday was that bottom again at 59.33. So I would say Uber's trying to get set up there, looking better. WBA is our good old friend Walgreens. And let's see what it's doing. Down 27 cents. Oh man, that chart just changed. Wow, that's not good. It was actually set up a hair bullish yesterday for it to try to run. It may still get that little pop off where your 20 and 50 are meeting, but it's not going to run nearly like it could have yesterday. So that chart completely changed, and I know because remember what it looked like. And yeah, this thing's going to kind of get bearish now, real bearish probably. And probably for a little while, and then maybe have a pop. Probably not before them earnings or after, because that's January 9th, maybe around there, but I don't even know. So that's the Walgreens, and again, I have a feeling they're going to be not doing so well. Oh wait, Walgreens Boots Alliance stock jumps on report of a possible buyout. There you go. That was at 9:45 this morning. There you go. and so it jumped up yesterday. Remember, and remember, I said exactly that without even the news coming out. Holy cow, that's so great. So yeah, I have a feeling they're going to get bought out. Remember, we were talking last night about Walgreens, and I was like, didn't they weren't they? What happened with that private equity group that they were supposed to be looking at? And here's the chart right here. And yeah, I don't know what happened with it, but apparently they might be getting bought out by them, I guess. Caring Bridge and Walgreens, and that's a donation. Hedge funds think that Walgreens will bounce back soon. So I don't know about that, but yeah, we'll have to watch it. Like I said, I don't know. Maybe it'll be setting up right there for that sale. To be honest with you, because it is a little bit down the road. It'll have a pop, but it's nowhere near bullish. And it was trying to get bullish yesterday, and then the chart changed, just like I said. And then they announced today that there's a report of a possible buyout. So there you go. Charts just tell you everything right there. You guys know I've been saying that for a while. And it's just what the chart's been saying. So that is WBA Walgreens, and we'll see what happens. CVS, let's way down. We looked at it yesterday. It's been pulling back, and that could have been its bottom yesterday. It looks like 43.93. It did jump up $1.24, and CVS is like I said, it looks like it's trying to bounce back up there. I think they were getting sued by the DOJ. Yeah, they alleged that CVS knowingly contributed to the opioid crisis. So they just got hit with a lawsuit, I think. And I'm pretty sure from the DOJ or an investigation, something's happening. I didn't read it, but I just saw that. And but it does look like it's trying to bounce back. It has to get out of the basement. It'll get moving. So we'll be able to tell tomorrow. But it does kind of look like it's trying to, and it was way down also, and setting up a little bullish up there in the 56 area, and we're at 45. So that's CVS. Looks way better than Walgreens. I'll tell you that. Walgreens, like I said, we think they're gonna get sold off. And CERO. Let's see what. Not that this is a pharmacy company. It's a biotech company, but this one was trying to run up today. We were looking at it. And I think if the market wasn't so crazy, it probably would have run. Yesterday it went 5 to 12, and today it went 8 to 10 and back to 5, and it closed at 6. So it was trying to move, but it didn't really get cruising there, and we'll have to see what it's going to do here. So I'll keep an eye on it and see what it wants to do, and that is CERO. And again, it could have just be ran up and pulled back. It's kind of got a flat look and keeps setting up there. So I'll keep an eye on that one because that's a good potential. SINT, let's take a look. This one is setting up. Somebody asked about this, and they're right. This one's curling up really nice. So keep an eye on SINT tomorrow. 309 to 443. It's at 371, and it's looking pretty good right there. So I would say SINT, SINT Technologies is looking good. Aren't they like a car company or an EV car or something like that? I don't know what they, I thought they used to, and now I thought SINT used to be like a car company and now it's a medical device. I swear they used to like make cars or something. I could be crazy, but that was like during COVID. So maybe it just changed. I have no idea, but I swore that they used to make like little EV cars, like little tiny cars too. I have to look that up because I swear they used to. Anyway, that's SINT. I just remember the stock ticker, and they used to make little cars. That's all I remember. NXPI. I don't remember much in life, but how I remember that, I'm telling you, I just remember these stock tickers and stupid things about them. It's bizarre. It is so bizarre. NXPL, Next Plat Corp. Up 14 cents and not looking too bad here. NXPL. Let me take a look at it. Yeah, it did run up 118 to 145, and it's at 145. It's looking pretty strong up there. So yeah, I would say it looks decent. I wouldn't say we're looking at the same chart as Finviz here. And another example, I'll just point it out. This one says it's at 128. I'll even make sure it's today. Has to be December 18th. It is. So it says it was at 128 when it closed. The after hours, after market, 129. It went up 1 cent. And then I go and click on mine. It's at 145. and it ran from 118 to 145, and that's where it's at. I mean, they're not even close. And again, this trend spider is just money. I say it all the time, and this thing's curling up and moving. I believe it's at 145. I bet if I looked on StockTwits right now, it'd be at 145. StockTwits' prices are always accurate too, and for the most part, they're always on the money, even in the middle of the night. It's crazy. Somehow they figured out how to get live pricing all around at all hours, but yet these big services don't have them. Like I said, TrendSpider's money, but the FinViz is just so off anymore. It's not even close. It used to be a great service, but it's not even close anymore. So, yeah, that's just an example right there of and both of them are paid services. I have both paid services. I say it all the time. I have the FinViz Elite, and obviously TrendSpider is a paid service, but it's well worth it. I think it's the best tool if this is what you're going to be doing. You need tools for whatever job you do. Let's face it. Whether you do office work, you need tools. Whether you need copy machines or whatever, construction, you definitely need tools. You need tools for everything. Doctors need them. Chefs need tools. They need their knives and stuff, tongs, this and that. Everybody needs their tools. And so, yeah, this is just like you just want. That's why I talk about it, because you got to find the best tool, and you don't want to be wasting money on a bunch of different services and things, especially when they're not working accurately. So that's why I talk about the Trend Spider and let you guys know. And yeah, it's money. So there you go. And then that's just another example right there, that NXPL. You can just clearly see it. I mean, I'm flipping back and forth between the screens. So when you go through and watch the video, because I know this one's recorded, I'll put up the live from this morning. But when you look at it, you'll be able to tell that they're not even looking like the same charts there. So there you go with that. And here we go. Let's see. Laptop Travel just said something about CVS. Oh, that was Louis Rodriguez. I'm sorry. That's Louis Rodriguez said CVS has been associated with many anti-competitive business practices through their PBM divisions, Caremark and Aetna. The antitrust class actions against them could be substantial. All right, well, there you go. And SINTX makes ceramic armor for vehicles, so you might have associated the images and articles of that to the company. They manufacture and market pure boron carbide, the highest strength ceramic armor available. Yeah, maybe I did. You might be 100% right there, Laptop Travel, because I remember I'd see these little tiny cars, and I'd be like, what the hell did they even do? I don't even know. But I remember that stock ran like crazy one time. It was a penny stock and it went nutty. And then and then it added an X. So I have no idea. Maybe they changed the name. I don't know. But yeah, I just remember SINT doing that. And here we go. Let's see. IDVV. Let's take a look at that one real quick and see what that's doing. Hold on. IDVV. If I can type it in, I'll get there. I don't even see it. Hold on. Let me look at it on mine and see if it pulls up. It does. What does that even? Wow, that thing looks crazy. I have to look at that on a different chart. It's a penny, so it's definitely like one of them OTCs. It said something when it came up. OTC. All right, I didn't even realize that it says that on here, but yeah, it does say it next to it on the left. I have to look at them from now on when I think that they're the OTCs or the pinks or whatever. This is an OTC. They're hard to tell, but this thing runs around. It seems like a lot. I can't really tell though because it's just saying like a penny. So I'm not exactly sure about that one, Social Connect. And again, I'm not really good at the OTCs. I say it all the time. I just don't have the right charting for them. Whatever charts I've ever looked at has never been able to pull up like the OTCs. And I even made these charts in the Trend Spider. I have a little better idea on some of them, but certain ones like this one, for example, I have no idea. Like it just runs around and I couldn't tell you what. It would be more of a coin flip to me. So I don't want to tell you one way or the other when I can't really tell. So that is that IDVV. So I apologize. I can't really tell with that. Nostradamus wants to see FGL. Let's see what that's looking. Founder Group Limited here. That one's definitely curling up there. FGL. That is looking good. It ran up a little bit today, or maybe even a lot today, 186 to 350, and it's at 255, and it looks like it just curled through, and it's going to keep some momentum there. So that could be a good one for tomorrow. FGL. Yeah, we'll have to write that one down. FGL, that looks good. Nostradamus, I like that. Let's see. Talk a bit about today's market fall and what is the prediction. I certainly will. We'll look at WTO real quick, and then we can look at EJH. WTO is down a penny. It's just kind of flat, nothing real crazy. It still didn't even drop back down to that bottom where it was. So it's just kind of bouncing around. And again, that bottom down there, I remember saying it was 24, just under, like in the 24.5 cents, and you're at 26, over 26 and a half. So it's just bouncing around, pulling back a little bit. Nothing too crazy there. EJH, this one was up a penny. And remember, it ran up the last couple trading days and looking good. Remember, we were looking at it, and it should continue to run, I would think, up to that 83 area, 83 cents. It's at 77 possibly. Let me see what it did in the after hours here. 73. Yeah, it ran up to what, 80? It opened at 80, went up to 81, then I guess it pulled back. Yesterday it went 73 to 81. So it did run around. The earnings are coming up. Like I said, what I say, 80 at 84. It has to get over that 84, 85 area if it really wants to get running. We'll have to look at it because it's run up a couple days, and they have earnings coming up. When it was at the 31st, so they're coming up on New Year's Eve. There you go. And so that is WTO and EJH right there. And there you go with them guys. TEM, let's see what that's doing. TEM, Tempest AI. Wow, that one looks like it's going to bounce right back. If it didn't, let me see in the after hours. No, it went from 39.11 up to 40.30 and down to 34. It's at 34.90 and hitting that bottom down there. We'll have to look at it. It could make a bounce tomorrow. We'll look at it in the morning. I'm going to write that one down too. TEM, and we'll take a look at that in the morning because it has one of them dip and rip and bounce looks right there. So, and Jennifer Lee knows her bounces and her runners. So we will certainly keep an eye on that TEM for sure. So we will look at that one. And we'll definitely look at Tesla and FRSX. Let's take a look at that. If I type that in, FRSX, here we go, Foresight Anonymous Holdings. And that one ran up today. And the name looks familiar. I know that, but it ran up 63 to 107. It's at 105 and looks pretty strong up there. I'll tell you that. So I would keep an eye on it. Has that look like it's in the top and wants to stay up there? It's an Israeli auto parts company, and it is one that we've looked at. I know that because I know the name of it, and I can tell by this chart right here too because it's been a crazy one, and I remember these. And yeah, we definitely looked at this. It was on a laptop travel list. I know that, and it bounced today, and it probably has momentum tomorrow. So keep an eye on that as well. Good one right there, Profit Logics. And here's the overnight prices for Meta and NVD after the drops. Let's see. Overnight, Apple was down a little bit. Amazon's up a hair. Google's up a hair. Um, Meta's up a little, Microsoft's up a little, Nvidia's up over 1%, and Tesla is up just a hair. So it looks like Apple's down a hair. So I'll retweet that out or repost it. Thank you much, Laptop Travel. Appreciate that. And all right, let's rock and roll. We'll keep on cruising right through these bad boys. And I think I looked at NXPL, I believe, was the last one. And then I don't know how I got off on a tangent, but I definitely did. But NXPL, we definitely looked at that. And again, it was, oh, I know. Wasn't the two charts like completely crazy from each other? Yeah, totally. 145. This is at the 120. Okay, so I remember. All right, so that was NXPL, and again, it looks like it could keep the momentum. Let's look at CCG. I don't, not from, oh, that's Cheche Group. We definitely looked at this before. I thought at first when I was writing it, it said CGC and it was Canopy Growth, but it wasn't. And it says CCG, and that is kind of cruising up there. It's curling up CCG, Cheche Group. So we definitely want to keep an eye on that. That is setting up to get running 80 to 81, and that's where it's at today. And I would say CCG is looking good right there. So keep an eye on that. And since I mentioned Canopy Growth, we'll just look at it, CGC. And actually, this one to keep an eye on. We'll keep an eye on these cannabis ones. I have been, and they did pull back today a little bit with everything. This one, let me see. No, that's CCG. This went 308 to 310 and back down to 281. It's at 286, and it's kind of hitting a good spot right here. It got into the basement, so maybe it'll pull back just a little bit more and set up, and then that one should get popping. CGC, which is Canopy Growth, so we'll keep an eye on the cannabis sector as well and take a look at them. And XCH, let's look at that one. XCH Exchange Ltd or something took a huge dip today down to the bottom. That's a nice dip right there, as so many did, but this is a nice one. 22 up to 27.94, and then it came down to $1.36 and it closed at 290. That's a good dip. And XCH is a Germany company. I don't know what, the industrial machinery, and I would watch for this bounce as well. I mean, it's at, like I said, it's at 290, and yeah, it's way down there, guys. So that one's a crazy one. XCH, we're gonna definitely have to watch for that bounce. I have to keep an eye on that bad boy for sure, because that could have a good bounce right there. And MSPR, let's see what that is. That MSP recovery, just a little pullback. It's in a great spot right there. Just trying to curl up right here in between. It ran up yesterday, 170 to 435, and it's just in between that channel. A little healthy pullback today. So keep an eye on it. If it can roll off this MACD, it'll get rolling back up to that 259 area and try to get running. And again, it ran up yesterday, I think in the after hours, I believe, and it got up to that 435 there. So that's MSPR, and that one did run. And yeah, like yesterday on FinViz, it says it opened at 169. Its high was 204. So it doesn't show you like anything that even happened. You wouldn't even have known that ran if you looked at FinViz, which is just crazy. I mean, because the market literally, like we keep talking about, it's like going overnight. It's about to run 24/7. It's been running since 4 a.m. for a couple years. I mean, it's crazy, and they still don't have it right. It's kind of bizarre. So yeah, you have to know what the platforms that work. And again, I've used FinViz my entire life. So this is the one site that I use for like over, I guess, as long as I can remember anyway. So, yeah, it's kind of bizarre that they're that far behind. And I have no idea. But MSPR, there you go. It's trying to set back up. Ran big yesterday. And again, if you look at FinViz, you would have no idea what it even did. And when you don't know that it ran up in the after hours or the pre-market, that makes a big difference, because it did run up, so it changes the candlesticks and the charting, and this doesn't show it. And that's why sometimes when I look at them, I go, let me look at it, and I go, oh, now I see what happened, because you can kind of tell what it wants to do from FinViz. I can tell that it should be popping, but it's not showing it. And then as soon as I hop on my trend spider, it popped, and I say it a lot. I'm like, oh, well, that popped. There you go. And it looked like it should have, and FinViz just doesn't show it accurately. And yeah, it's just it kind of messes it up. I'm not gonna lie. It's hard to, I look at it now for the setups to make sure I know the right setup, and I know what I'm looking at, and the price is around there. I just know, I have an idea that the price should be around there. And then when I get to my trend spider, I know what the setup was, so I should be able to just gauge off of that. And I just trust the trend spider, and it's right every time. I mean, I haven't seen it wrong. So maybe once or twice the FinViz in the morning has showed a price where it like went up a little bit, like an oddball one, and it didn't move on TrendSpider yet, but I'm not worrying about that. Overall, it just blows everything out of the water. So, and that's just another example right there. And every night I could point out a million examples, but it catching my eye today like that. And so yeah, big difference, and there you go. So NVX though, this one curls up, was up 10 cents at least when it closed. Let me look because who the heck knows. The other day it ran on the 16th, so on Monday, this thing ran from 159 to 310, and then today it ran from 157 to 188, and it's back to 157. So it opened and closed basically at the same place and the same spot. I tried to say place and spot at the same time. The same spot, same place, and has that kind of weird look. And then on FinViz, it looks like it wants to just go flying still. So, but it does have that weird look, so you can't exactly tell. And I'd have to look at it again. So there's just I mean, it's just example after example. So, but you see it big time when you see these pullbacks and stuff like that, because it just gets all thrown off. So you have to really make sure you know what you're looking at and exactly what happened for the setup to be right, and make sure that you know if it's going to be bouncing or if it's going to be crashing down or what it wants to do. So it's kind of important to know exactly what's going on. And so that's why I'm pointing that out to you. But yeah, it's just bizarre to me that they're that far behind in the world of charting when they've been around forever. I'm telling you, FinViz has been like the greatest scanner and charting for as long as I can ever remember looking at stocks. So that's how long it's. I don't know when it started. I don't really remember, but I know I've been using it forever. So yeah, it's just bizarre to me, but they got to get up with the times here. SOBR, let's look at that one because that's setting up in a really good spot right there. They're the ones that we like. It ran a little today, 101 to 170, and it came back into the 80s. So it closed at 86. It closed lower than it opened, but it is trying to set up here and is in a good spot to get set up in the next few days. So we'll keep an eye on that one and see what SOBR wants to do. And PTPI is at Petros Pharmaceuticals, and this one ran up the other day. Was it yesterday? Let me see. PTPI. We had looked at it before. Yeah, yesterday it ran up 26 to 59, and today it went from 45 down to 28, and it closed at 31. So basically, it was pulling back a little bit. This one has a crazy setup, actually. So I'm going to keep an eye on PTPI. I'll tell you that right now. I want to see what that's up to tomorrow. I look at this thing and it's kind of wild right here. So I don't know what's going on, but it looks pretty good to me. I'm not going to lie. Even with that crazy run up yesterday, it still looks really good. Keep your eye on this thing. It's a drug manufacturer, and yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here, but it's looking pretty good right there. PTPI. So I'll look at it. It has a pullback look today, but I'm telling you, something's going on there. So I'll just check it out tomorrow and see what's up with that one. And I wrote SOBR down twice, right in between PTPI. That was pretty impressive, and didn't even notice that I did it. USAU. Here we go. US Gold Corp. That one's way down. The gold ones have been down, haven't they? So they might be getting ready to get cruising again. So we'll watch for that bottom. And it very well could be right here at like the 630 area. It's at 641. It says 669 on mine in the after hours. But yeah, it went from 689 to 711. And I grabbed the Slurpee today too. It did that yesterday too. It's high. I remember saying that. So we definitely looked at it, and it wanted a Slurpee again. So it got up to 711, and then it came back down into the 669 area. That's where it closed, and it was down to 635, but it closed at 669. And again, just kind of hitting back down here to set up it. You can see it setting up right there, and it's going to bounce. So definitely one to keep an eye on for sure. USAU, and we'll look at all the gold guys too and see what they're up to, because I'm sure they're down. We were looking at them before, and that one's just looking really good. So how about Workhorse, WKHS? Let's see this one. This one's just pulling back down here, a nice pullback. I'm familiar with this one as well. WKHS. This has run up pretty big before. I know that. It may be hitting like a little base and bottom down here. So I'll look at this tomorrow. That's an auto manufacturer. I don't even know if I knew that, but it 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 is trying to set up and make a little base right there. So I'll look at that tomorrow as well. WKHS and XXSH. And I don't even know. I didn't know what that was when I wrote it down, but I had no idea what it was unless I was writing a Y. And I don't think that is one either. Yeah, I don't know what that was supposed to be. But I'll check. I'll look at the list later, and if I figure it out, I'll post it out. But when I wrote it down, I was like, I don't even recognize that. But not saying that I know them all, so I wrote it down and went with it. But yeah, it's not. I can't. I don't see it anywheres. Let me see on mine. Did I check XSXSH? Yeah, no, it's not coming up. Even XSHD is a small cap dividend. XSHQ is a small cap quality ETF, and then there's XSHLF, and that's an OTC. So I'm not sure, but that's what I see come up on mine, and nothing on the Finviz. So yeah, I'll have to look at that one. But EYEN, let's look and get an eye on this one, Inovia, and see what it's doing. It's just in the basement down here. And let's see what this is doing. EYEN. Here we go. If I type it in right, I'll get to come up on the chart. But here we go. All right, it just has to run up a little more to that 10 cents. It's at 8. It got up to 9 and it's not looking bad at all. So I would keep an eye on this to try to get set up. If the market tries to turn up a little bit, this one should get moving, I would say. And that's EYEN. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on that one. And BHAT is that Blue Hat Interactive Entertainment Technology. And this one does look like it's trying to curl up real quick. So I would keep an eye on BHAT, and does look like that bottom was yesterday at 10 cents. Today was at 11, and it's at 12 right now, and it looks pretty good. It does have earnings coming up on New Year's Eve, so they'll be wearing blue hats for New Year's Eve for their earnings, and that's Blue Hat Interactive Entertainment Technology. It's a China electronic gaming and multimedia company. But yeah, I would take a look at it. It does look like it's trying to curl up right there and could possibly be getting cruising real quick. TNMG, let's see that one. TNMG. That is TNL Mediagene, something like that. I don't know. Way down there. Nice dip down here. TNMG. Let's see. And is that bottom, what, 555, 555 the last 2 days? I would say it's trying to bottom out right here. It's at 670. So keep an eye on for that 555 and look at it because it wants to bounce off that bottom. So that's TNMG, and that's going to get set up right there. So we can keep an eye on that. And MLGO, this one recently split and December 13th. And when did it run up? Did it run up that day? Because I remember seeing it run up. I think it did on that day. Yeah, December 13th. It did 211 to 384 the day it split, and then it pulled back. I do remember seeing. We weren't really talking about it again, but I just saw it on my watch list. I remember the other day, and it did split and popped up, but then came back, and it's gotten into the basement right there. So we'll have to see when this one wants to bottom back out. But yeah, that one did pop up the other day off the split. MLGO. And WKEY was running up the other day. It's pulling back. It's out of the top, and we'll see how far it wants to pull back before it wants to set back up. So this one did run up pretty big. WKEY. So we'll keep an eye on that. And let's look at RGF, which is Real Good Food Company. And this one's getting set up, guys. Just a little flat down there and could have been that little bottom spot right there today at like 19, just under 20 cents, it looks like. And it does look pretty good, RGF. So yeah, I would take a look at this tomorrow, guys. They do have earnings coming up on December 31st as well. December 31st is going to be a busy earnings day on New Year's Eve right there. But I would say RGF is looking pretty good for a little run up. So keep an eye on that. It's trying to get set up right there, I would say. It's at what, 24 cents and not looking bad. So keep an eye on it. Not sure it's going to run huge, but it does look like it wants to try to run. Although, I mean, if it keeps getting up there and can get up into this like 26 area, it could get bouncing. So we'll keep an eye on it. RGF, we're familiar with that one. And let's take a look at GOVX. Here we go. Geovax Labs. Let's see what they're up to. Isn't this one of them ones that GOVX? Yeah, this is one of the monkeypox ones or something that we looked at before. And so let's look at it. And there was something breaking out. Isn't there like bird flu breaking out in California or something right now? So keep an eye on some of these bad boys for that thing because let's see what it did yesterday. It looks like it was at the bottom right there. GOVX. And it did run up around, it ran around today, 227 to 250, and came back to 214, and it closed at 232. It's not bad. It gets in this channel right here, 235. It can definitely get moving. So I would say keep an eye on it. It does look like it's trying to set up too. Could get cruising right here. Maybe they do play with bird flu. Who the heck knows? Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that GOVX. I'll look at it because, like I said, it does look like it's setting up. And I swear I did see some bird flu outbreak somewhere, as I thought in California or somewhere. So, and Nubaru, BURU, that one's curling back up and trying to run, guys. Keep an eye on this bad boy. It looks pretty good today. Oh yeah, this one wants to get running. It has some resistance there at 41. You're at 34, but it should get right through it right there. So keep an eye on BURU because that looks really good right there to get running. How about what is this? How about Holo? Let's see what Holo wants to do. HOLO. This one pulling back. It ran up the yesterday just for a hair. It looked like it tried to bottom out the day before at 128. Today got down to 126. And let's just look at it. And it is at 130, it says here, but yeah, we'll have to take a look. They have earnings coming up that probably New Year's Eve too. Yeah, December 31st. So it's in the basement. We're not really worrying about Holo too much anymore. So that is Holo and BITX. Let's look at it. 2 times Bitcoin strategy ETF. You know that's pulling back. And it does. It's hitting some resistance right there, some support right here at that 61.92, right where it's at, really. And BITX, it's going to be an interesting one for everything because if it falls down here, it's coming way down. Could dip down into the 47s. And, you know, Bitcoin and everything will be dipping down pretty hard. So the market's red, crypto's red, everything was red. So we'll be looking at crypto as well shortly. And yeah, that BITX took a nice dip right there. So did HUT. That one came way down under the 20. And that's the concern right here. Some of these did pull back pretty good. So let's see. And that one was trying to curl up and it was just hitting that line area. And in one of them spots where we've seen them before where they try to hit it and bounce back down and then dip real good. So HUT, unfortunately, with the rest of the market, definitely wasn't curling through, and that did bounce down right there. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. And KOLD, this one, what is it doing? It's just kind of, like I said, I think this is a little bearish right here. Let me see what the numbers are. 59.32 to 60.20, but it's down at 59.12, and it's just sitting flat kind of. Let me look at Boyle and see what that's up to. That was up 16 cents, and it looks kind of bullish right there. So, and it's in a good spot. So I think gold could pull back some more, and Boyle could go up. We'll have to take a look at them in the morning, though, because they do have some weird looks on the two of them, that's for sure. But that's what my guess would be from looking at them. WW is WW International, and that's down 15 cents and pulling back right there. So let's just take a look at it. Yeah, that's just pulling back. We'll have to look at that one again because that's just pulling back and not doing a whole lot of craziness right there. So we'll see if that gets set up. KULR, that is KULR technology, and that did run back up today and ran way up there. I think it got way over its, yeah, it got up over its high before and it got up to 263, 146 to 263. It's at 236. and it is in the top, and it looks good to try to run up some more, guys. So keep an eye on that KULR for some momentum right there tomorrow. And RVSN is the Israeli Railroad Company, Rail Vision, and this one was trying to curl up real big, and it was running up a little bit today. RVSN 40 to 45, and it's at 42, and it looks pretty good to try to get moving. So check out that train before it runs and gets on the railroad and leaves the station. And that's RVSN and VKTX. That Viking Therapeutics took a huge dip today. I'll tell you what, though, that's a great opportunity when you're not in them to check them out because VKTX way down there. What did it do? 46.48 down to 37.80, and it's at 38.56. And it was looking really good to try to run right there, too, and just took a huge dip down. So we'll see how far it wants to dip and try to catch that one on the way up because that should be a good one. And like I said, that's a healthy dip right there. SYRS. This one's just been down here in the basement, just kind of running flat, and it might have made that little base and bottom down here at 20 cents, and you're just above 20 cents, I believe, right here. So yeah, you're at like 21, maybe a little lower, but I would say we'll keep an eye on it. Maybe it wants to get running again. Remember, this one run up to like that 350 and then took a major dip. So that was SYRS. So I'll keep an eye on that, see what it wants to do. And how about TWG? That one, Top Wealth Group, and that one is just kind of pulling back 2 cents there. Did take a little dip. It almost looks like a dip and rip situation, but they've looked like that a couple times recently, so they're hard to tell. And yeah, the bottom looks like it's come in the last few days, and especially a couple days ago, 2 days ago, it looked like it was definitely bottoming out until today hit, and it came down to 19 cents. So TWG, we'll just keep an eye on that and see if it can get moving there and finally get cruising. And let's look at what's that? Lunar. That's what it is. LUNR. It had run up a little bit today. LUNR. Let's see where'd it go. LUNR. What is going on here? Here we go. LUNR. Here we go. Yeah, it did run up a little bit. It's trying to set up. It's an aerospace and defense. It went 1389 to 1499. It's back to 1334, and it's just sitting right above that 20. So we'll have to see if it stays set up tomorrow. And again, market conditions will probably play a role on that one right there. LUNR. And how about that NUKK? That one went wild today, huh? So that one just went ballistic. And we were looking at this long ago on a list, and it went from like 1713 to 7699, and it's at 39.51. So yeah, it went wild, guys. And again, we looked at this a long ago. It was in the dollar range, way down in the dollars. It could have been under a dollar when we were looking at it. So that would have been insane. And I know we looked at it for a while there. So NUKK went ballistic right there. So that one went wild. Be careful because that one did run up quite a bit today, so I'm not so sure it's going to run up much more, but it did go cruising. HURA, this one I thought did try to run. Let me look at the thing. Let's see. HURA 453 to 477 and got down to 389. Let me see what it's up to up here. It is trying to set up right there, so I'm going to keep an eye on it. It was just pulling back a little bit, but it's trying to set up, so I'll keep an eye on HURA. I think that wants to get moving again, and that is HURA and PLRZ. We looked at that last night, and it went wild. This was one of them new ones that I was saying. I don't generally look at them and can tell what this one looked like. It was pretty good. Well, yeah, it was really good. It went like crazy. It went $1.10 to 480, and it's at 279. So that one ran up quite a bit today as well. PLRZ, and we definitely looked at that last night. CURR. Let's look at this Currents Group. That's a shell company, and this one's moving on. We've been looking at a bunch of shell companies, and this one bounced up nice today. Remember I was saying how these shell companies, they they dip down hard and then they can run back up. This one went from 131 to 1214, and it's at 748. So that's CURR. Is this one that we were looking at yesterday? I don't even remember. We looked at a couple shell companies, and they were right there. So I don't remember if this was one of them. But there you go with that one. That one definitely ran today. WHLR Wheeler Real Estate. We were looking at this. It pulled back a little bit, I think. Yeah, definitely pulled back. WHLR. Wheeler, and let's see, it was 480 to 512, so it did run up and then it came down to 423. It's at 430 right now, and let's see if it's still all right down here. It's in the basement, so it never got out. So we'll keep an eye on that for when it does want to get out of the basement right there. And let's take a look at FTEL Fitel Corp. And wow, this one ran up yesterday, ran up today. This one has a crazy look right there. FTEL is wild. Today it went from 27.94 to 49.50, down to $5. It's at 10.17. Talk about a heck of a runaround on that thing. Holy cow. So yeah, that thing, and it might have that dip and rip situation, that nice bounce. I have to look at this thing tomorrow. FTEL, that one could bounce right there. So I'll look at that. And MATEF, I have to look at that on mine. It's got 5 letters, so I'm assuming it's probably one of the OTCs, but let me look. MATEF, and it is an OTC, Blockmate Ventures. And this one ran up yesterday, and today it was just at like 15.5 cents and doesn't look like it did much today. So I'm not exactly sure, but it did run up yesterday. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on with that one right there. But that is MATEF and NLSP, NLS Pharmaceuticals. Or pharmaceutics, yeah, pharmaceutics. There you go. This one's curling up really good. NLSP. Keep an eye on this one. This one's going to get cruising too, so that looks really good right there, I say. And UOKA, this one we were looking at before, it was at MDJH, I think it was, were the letters before. And now it's what? UOKA. Let me see. UOKA. Yep. And yeah, it's trying to run up here. We were looking at it down there. Remember, it ran up over $1 that day that it changed its name, and it got up to $1. That's right. It went from 22 to $1. Today it went from 25 to 32. It has to get over that 32 to really get cruising. So keep your eye on it because it very well possibly could. Maybe it pulls back to set up some more, but UOKA is not looking bad. It's looking okay at the moment. So that is that one. And GNS is Genius Group. And this one's starting to get in a good spot. So keep an eye on this. I know we were looking at it the other day, and I remember what it run up December 5th. We were just looking at it and it ran up, and then it's been pulling back the last week or so. And it's 72 to 65. It's at 68 right now. So I'll keep my eye on it because I think this one's getting set up again to get moving. So I'll keep an eye on GNS and let you know. Let me mark that there. And then GRRR, 3 R's, GRRR. Here we go. Gorilla Technology ran up today. It's in the top there. We had looked at it before. It was still running up here, 1048 to 1279. It's at 1150 now. And I'm not so sure it's going to stay up there. But again, these things have been tough. They've been running in the top for way longer than usual. So just be careful with it if you have it, and make sure you're locking in profits. Halliburton, HAL, took a big dip way into the basement. Not way in there, but it's in the basement. And you generally don't see Halliburton down here. So this one could be a great opportunity. 27.21 up to 27.35 and down to 26.04. It's at 26.27 at the moment. And yeah, this thing, we'll watch this in the basement, see where it wants to get set back up. So that's Halliburton. And let me look, because I looking and it barely stays in the basement long. If it gets in there, it's only in there for a moment. So we'll watch for that to try to bounce back up. HAL, Halliburton. And let's look at CPB. That's Campbell's. Oh yeah, we looked at it last night. It was looking great last night and took a nice dip today. I actually did look at it because I had it written down and 42.88 down to 41.50. And we're gonna look and see if that's its bottom right here. Maybe it tries to get down to 41 before it pops up. And another one, it is setting up, but it's down the road. It just looked like it was trying to get running and not in this market today, that's for sure. So Campbell's did have a nice dip right there, and we'll look to see if it wants to pull back anymore, and that'll get set up down the road, that CPB. So we'll keep an eye on that. And Ford, this one's been pulling back as well, and it's just tipping its toes in the basement right here. So we'll see if it's trying to stay in there, if it tries to pull itself out off that dip, because it is setting up bullish, and it could pull up and stay up like a couple days and then get popping. So we'll keep an eye on Ford to see exactly what it wants to do, because that's going to get set up there, and I'll keep an eye on that. And Peloton, PTON, down $1.13. It was up there at the top, hit that resistance basically, and it's pulling back. So Peloton, PTON, hard to tell, to be honest. Like I said, I was trying to curl up yesterday and really try to get moving, and then today like some nice pullback, 1071, and now we're at 944, and it got down to 930. So let's see what Peloton wants to do, if it's trying to hold itself and bounce, or if it's really coming down right there. NIO, that NEO, that's that auto manufacturer in China. We played this run up perfectly recently, and this one is hitting that line. It could pull back. Let me look on mine, but I'm gonna have to take a look at this tomorrow. Yeah, it could roll off of there. It could pull back. It's hard to tell. I'll look at that tomorrow. That's NIO. Let me mark that one right here. And PBR, let's see that one. PBR. And this one is down 60. This is a nice dip down here too. PBR, I mean, everything had a pretty nice dip today. I'm not gonna lie. 1357. It's down low as 1277. It's at 1296. So I'll keep an eye on that too. See if it wants to bounce. It can bounce easily off that 13, and it's even under that. So it's at 1296. It's right around there. And we'll keep an eye on PBR. Let me see that. ATOS, let's look at that. ATOS, Atosa Therapeutics or something, Atosa, something like that. That one just poked its head in the basement. So all these bad boys are just getting into the basement right here, and we'll have to take a look at it. This one might be bottoming out and trying to crawl back up. So that's another one I'll have to take a look at. ATOS. And RR is at Rich Tech Robotics, and it did run up today. We were just looking at it. It did get up into the top, and it looks pretty good up there. So keep an eye on this tomorrow if it tries to get running again. And obviously, you'll know if it wants to, because it'll be moving. So just keep an eye on RR right there, and FGL. We did that founder group already, and that one's a pretty new one. And somebody already asked about it, and it's probably where I wrote it down. But yeah, that one looks like it could keep that momentum up there. We definitely looked at that. FGL and GOVX we looked at, and APDN. Let's look at that. Applied DNA Sciences, and this looks like it wants to get moving. So. Yeah, that one looks like it wants to really get moving. APDN. So keep an eye on that one, because that one looks real good. And I think that GOVX looked pretty good. Yeah, I said to keep an eye on that up there. I already had it written down. So there you go with them bad boys. Let me see if you guys want to see anything else real quick. I'll go through our laptop ones. The Lion, of course, we talked about HGHL, and keep an eye on that Lion, because it does look really good. And we looked at all three big cats right there. We looked at the Lion, we looked at the Cheetah, and we looked at the Jaguar. And like I was saying, the Lion and the Cheetah are looking decent, and the Jaguar pulled back. So we'll look to see if it wants to run. But yeah, there's them bad boys. Let me see. Let me see which one we're talking about there. TNMG. It says lost a lot of volume. What was the volume on that today? I remember we went over it, but I don't remember. Oh, that was at This guy, TNMG, it already had 21,000 in volume. Yeah, that one's way down there. So TNMG, oh, let me write that one in here. TNMG. Yeah, that one's way down there, but could be bottoming out again. 788 came down to 555. We didn't cover this, I don't think. And is at 670 right now. So TNMG, this is a advertising agency. It almost looks like a shell company at some point, and just kind of picked up, it looks like. So it does pull back. It's hitting that bottom. So it could get bouncing. I'd have to keep an eye on that one as well. It's a little tough to tell right there. And I'll look at that one for you. Amazon and AVGO, Drewski, we'll definitely look at them bad boys. You know that. And if you use Think or Swim, the overnight's already enabled, guys. Luis Rodriguez posted some information about that. SYTA and SKYT. SYTA, let's look at it. Profit Logic. SYTA, here we go. Saida Mobile, or however you say it, Sayada Mobile. That is crawling up. We've looked at this a bunch of times, and it recently ran on the 12th up to 125. Did that say? Yeah. And it's at 74 and it's curling up. I'd say this one looks solid, guys. So keep an eye on this tomorrow. That should be running SYTA and SKYT. SKYT, Skywater Technology, that one already is running in the top. I'd have to say be careful with that, just the look of it. It could run up higher. Yeah, it could run up higher with that look, but just make sure it's running up, obviously. So that would be a fast momentum play, SKYT, but both of them looking solid. Profit Logics. And Barbara, how are you? How about that E-Lab for you today? Did you like that one? That was a nice one run up for us in the after hours. We were talking about it yesterday, and I had to give it a little speech and say, yeah, you got to get moving for Barber. This is crazy. And look at it. It went running right there for you. So E-Lab went cruising up today, and it's looking great. $2 at 345, and it's at 340 in the after hours. So I know some people are happy about that one. So there you go. We were talking about it last night, and like I said, that TWG did pull back. I know you were looking at that as well. It did pull back a little today. I'll have to give that one a little pep talk after that dip today. So maybe that one will bounce for you there. So and that's E-Lab and your TWG and an MTEK. Let's see. Morris Tech, that one ran up is in the top. MTEK. We had looked at this previously at 332 to 531. It's at 451. Um, it's that one's a tough one to tell if it's going to stay up there. It should get a little momentum in the morning, but again, that could be just a momentum play right there, MTEK. But we definitely looked at that recently too. MCNA. Let's see what that new Canna. We've looked. Oh, this one's going to be setting up, guys. Keep an eye on this. I would say give this another week or so, probably, or at least a few more days. I'll look at it, but it is getting set up. I'll write that down. NCNA. That will be getting set up right there. IMMN, is it? IMMN? No, hold on. IMNN, that's it. IMNN. There we go. IMNN. And this one's curling up. It's right in that channel. Is pulling back. I'm not sure exactly what the whole market was. So, but yeah, just probably a little healthy. It's in between that 88 and that 83. So, keep an eye on that because that is setting up to try to pop up there. IMNN. And let's see. And we looked at the E Lab and boom and bam, and they made it up on their E-Lab. So there you go. You made up your loss on TWG, and maybe I'll have that talk with TWG and get that to pop for you. So yeah, we looked at E-Lab last night, went through them, and again, yeah, and look what happened with the big caps today. I mean, they got crushed, so everything got ran down, and some of these small caps ran up. So you see it happen. every which way, and that's why you just have to be really smart with the market and not overtrade, really, because if you're in a bunch of these, you get killed, and if you're only in one or two of them, you can kind of get your way out of it. But if you're in like five of them or six, forget it. You got money all over, and them getting crushed all over. It's kind of tough. So you got to play the market very safe and really just look at that risk factor a lot of times. So and probability. But there you go with them bad boys. And let's see what else is going on. I think we got all that. We talked about that. So here we go. Let me keep on cruising. I'll run through laptop travels list and then we'll do our crypto, which hasn't looked so great today either. And then we'll do our big caps, which didn't look so great either. But let's look at everything. So here we go. AIMD. AIMD up a penny. And it is trying to curl up right there. I was going to say, it looks like it tried to run up today. AMID. Maybe it tried to run down. Uh, Hold on. AI. I got two different things in here. That's why. I had AMID, AIMD. That might help. Yeah, it did try to run up 45 to 53, and it's at 46, and it looks good, guys. So I'd keep an eye on this bad boy. It's not looking bad at all. AIMD, that one should try to keep that momentum right there. And APM, isn't that Apollo? No, that's not Apollo mix. This is Aptorium or something. Aptorum. I don't know. Something like that. Anyway, it's just curling up right there on the 20. It's getting set up. It's not exactly ready. It don't look like, but it is setting up. So it's one to keep your eye on. And AVNW. And let's see what that's doing. That's actually kind of pulled back into a good spot right there. AVNW. Yeah, it kind of pulled back and is in a good spot to roll up and get moving. So definitely keep an eye on that because, like I said, it does want to kind of bounce there. BGI, Burks Group, and this one just kind of pulling back into that 20 right there. BGI. Yeah, just a little pull like I said, just a little pullback right there. It was looking really good the last 2 days, and then it just had a little bit of pullback. So we'll keep an eye on that one. And BGI CFSB. Let's see, CFSB Bank Corp. This one was setting up really good. It had run up a little bit. Yesterday it was looking better. Today it pulled back. We'll have to see about that one if it can hold itself up there right there. CFSB. Yeah, I have to look at that one tomorrow, to be honest with you, to see what it would like to do. CLWT, Eurotech Holdings. I think we looked at this. This is one of the ones I've said like you can trade all the time. It runs around a lot and it's about to get moving. CLWT. And it went 140 to 148 down to 138. It's at 148 now and looks like it wants to run. So that's CLWT and CNET, CNET. This one's trying to get curled up, guys. Keep an eye on CNET right here. CNET is looking good. I would say it's going to roll right off that MACD and try to get moving. FENG is pulled back a little bit today, it looks like. So let's take a look at it. FENG. And yeah, just a little pullback, nothing crazy. This one's getting set up to run soon, so we'll keep an eye on that. GAUZ is at Israeli Aerospace and Defense, and this is getting set up, guys. We were talking about it last night. It was curling up, and yeah, this thing's trying to get set up. It ran 788 to 826. Back to 761. It's at 773. So keep an eye on that bad boy, GAUZ, because that could be getting set up right there. And we went through the aerospace and defense last night. And let's look at that HOFV, which is that Hall of Fame Resort Entertainment Company. And we were looking at this and saying it was getting in a good spot. HOFV, and it sure is. That one's going to get running, guys. So keep an eye on that bad boy. And INTG, this one's an interesting one for sure. INTG, let me see this. INTG. Inner group, what the heck is it even trying to do? Curl up right there. Yesterday 11 to 14, And then today, 1354 to 1416. It looks like it's trying to curl up there. So keep an eye on this thing. That looks interesting right there. INTG. MTNB. Let's see what that's up to. MTNB. MTNB. That's at Matinas Biopharma. It's out of the basement, but it's just kind of flat at this point, trying to get set up. It's starting to look pretty good right there. MTNB. So, yeah, keep an eye on that. It should be getting set up relatively soon right there. And SCNI. This one is cyanide immunotherapeutics, and it looks like it wants to bounce up there. Your 20 and 50 are meeting up right there. Let me take a look at it. SCNI. And yeah, it ran up the other day to 419, and it does look like it's trying to set up the run. So keep an eye on that one. CSNI, not looking bad right there to set up. SGD, let's look at SGD, Safe and Green Development, and that's trying to get set up as well and try to curl up. So a lot of these bad boys, SGD, and these small caps are looking pretty decent here. 224 to 238 down to 214, and it closed at 224. So it opened and closed at the same price. I think it did it yesterday too. 214 it opened and closed at 213. So yeah, weird looking, but trying to get set up. SGD and SKYQ, Sky Quarry. And this one's a new one, but trying to set up oil and gas and looking decent, guys. So I would keep an eye on SKYQ. It does look like it's trying to go to the sky a little bit right there. And ULY. Let's see what ULY is doing because that one looks pretty good right there. And let's see what it looks like right here. ULY. And it does look like it's trying to set up right there, roll off the MACD and get cruising. Today it went 53 to 58 down to 50 and closed at 53. So it opened and closed at the same price. Has that weird look to me, but it does look like it's trying to move. So yeah, keep an eye on that. And there's your laptop travel list right there. And let me go through crypto real quick and let's see how that's bleeding because it was pretty bloody too today and red like the market. So let's take a look and see what's going on with our crypto world here. And let's see. Our Bitcoin's still at 100,000 though, so it's at 100,955. So still over 100. And let me see what the chart looks like here. And it's pulled back to the 30, so it's in between that 10 and 30. So here's where it's an interesting one. If it's going to pull back under that 30, it's dipping down hard. And if it can stay up around there and bounce up, it'll have another run up. And then you're going to have to really look at it for a correction around there. So we will keep an eye on that for sure. Ethereum's at 3,658, so that came down. It was just at 4,000 the other day, and it did come down underneath of that 30, so it crossed down under there and could pull back. So we'll see if it wants to just stop itself and curl back up. If Bitcoin does, it will. Solana's down at like 207, so that one's taking a nice dip as well. And let me see what's going on here. Here we go, Solana, and that is, yeah, it was touching 200. It looks like. What was its low there? Where's its low at? 199 it touched down to. Wow. So yeah, Solana touched down to that 199 spot. So we have to keep an eye on that. I mean, it's way down there in the 30 though in the RSI, so it could just get touched down to the bottom right there and then bounce right back up. It made plenty of room. So it's back at 206 at the moment. Cardano is back to 97, so that's down. And another one came right down, way down past the 10 and 30 they were crossing, remember? And I was saying they look like it could push them back down. You couldn't tell. Well, there you go. It pushed them down all right, but let's see if Cardano is trying to base out down here and try to get rolling. It looks like it possibly could and not get rolling yet, but base out. Doge is down to 36. Another one, remember that 10 was pushing it down. It pushed it down all right. and it's way down there, and it's down to the 30, so it could come down a little more. It could drop down a whole lot if it really wanted to. So yeah, Doge is right there, but a lot of room they've made too, so got to keep an eye on them. Sheeb pulled back as well. Let's look at Bonk and see what that did. Obviously, that pulled back too is down like 13%, and that one's coming back down. And yeah, that one's was trying to hit that 10 to 30s up there, curling down. So, that's interesting right there. And Bonk's way down there, and it's at the almost at the bottom of the 30. So, kind of crazy. And let's look at WIF and see what that's doing. That's Laptop Travels Wife's Pet Rock, and it's at 228. Wow, that one's getting smoked too. And that took a heck of a dip, and that 10 pushed it way down. So we'll have to see if that's going to be bottomed out there. And how about what else? Bonk, BONK, couldn't even think of it. That's down 13%. And that one got pushed way down there. Yeah, Bonk definitely did. And that Floki, we'll look at that real quick. But yeah, crypto just got crushed too, just like the market did today. Both of them got whacked. And Floki's way down too and dipped down. So we'll have to see. I'll be watching them to see if they want to make a base or if it's going to keep dipping there. So you didn't miss anything yet, Drewski, because we're about to go through our big cap. So sit tight, and you'll hear Amazon and AVGO in about 2 minutes. So there you go. You're just in time. And yeah, so crypto is getting smashed, and now we're gonna go into our SPY big caps and all them bad boys. We did our other list and everything else, so let's take a look at them and see what happened. Besides get crushed today, as everything did, our SPY was down $18. I was saying last night I didn't think it was gonna come down that far, but if it pulled back, it might come down to that 590. And I said that would be crazy. Well, it came down to 586. So I guess it wasn't so crazy, but I just didn't see it happening, but it did. I guess I might have seen it happening, but didn't think it was going to happen. It wasn't really confirming itself right there. It didn't look that bad. And then I guess that fed and everything else, and it just overreacted, I guess. I'm not exactly sure why the market even took such a dumping today. So the Fed came out with the rate 0.25. I think everybody knew it was going to happen. And then, yeah, it just got bloody red and just nasty. So, of course, they all need to kind of pull back. They were running up. I've been saying that, but it didn't look like it wanted to pull back like this. So it came under the support lines, under the 50. I mean, it came through everything. So there is a hard support down here at 569. So if the SPY got down there, that would be a pretty damn big dip. And you definitely want to buy that bad boy because that would be a crazy run back up. But let's look at the rest of them because Apple was back 543. It came out of the top, but it's still above the support line, so it could easily bounce right back up. Amazon, here you go, AMZN. That one pulled back like $10, and another one hitting that support line right there at that 220, hitting the MACD, came out of the top, made a bunch of room, could easily bounce right back up and get wild again. So, and it made plenty of room where it could easily just curl back up, shoot it up, and still have plenty of room to run. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on these first thing in the morning. Google was down 697. It just went under the support line and pulling back, but another one could just bounce up real easy. How's that look like it could go either way? I mean, you just can't exactly tell it right where they're at. Meta, let's look at it. And I was even I'm just looking on the FinViz because I know on mine I can't even tell. And Google does look like it would be coming back a little bit down. And but yeah, you can't even really tell. Like I said, it could easily pull itself back up. Even Amazon, it's hitting that line right there. It could just bounce up or roll off, or it could pull itself down a little bit and then make a hard curl up. We've seen that plenty of times too. Meta, that was down $22 and took a huge dip right there, coming down to that line. and we'll see what Meta wants to do. It was touching that 20 down there and coming down to the MACD. So we'll see if it tries to roll right off and bounce back up with no problem. Microsoft came down $17. It was the only one I expected to pull back, and it's been just running up a lot. It ran up quick, and again, it's setting right back up, so it will bounce back up and jump. So Microsoft is looking good over time. Nvidia, hold on, let me type it in. NVDA. This one was trying to get back up there today. It was trying to move a little bit. It was probably the only one that looked halfway decent out of them. So Nvidia was trying to run around 131 to 136, back to 126, and it closed at 131.50. So opened at 131.91, closed at 130.150, so right around the same. And again, still looks like it's trying to set up there. So Nvidia is looking decent for the Mag 7s, and Tesla pulled back almost $40. So that's down to 440. It came out of the top. And again, this thing's been run up so much, it's been crazy. So I could see it pulling back a little bit more even, and then just rolling again. So we'll see what Tesla wants to do. Let's look at our AMC. That was down 20 cents, and it was just down here, just hanging out. But again, that bottom, it still didn't get down there. We're at 406. So yeah, it just came down, pulling back, making plenty of room. And when it gets ready, it's going to get cruising. So AMC is going to get set up right there. You can see it. GameStop, GME down 271. And we'll see. This one was trying to crawl right through and get rolling. Let's see what it did in the after hours here. Yeah, just hitting that 20 and could easily bounce back up tomorrow. So we'll be watching everything obviously tomorrow. Maybe it's an overreaction and everything just bounces back up. That's what we're hoping for anyway. And again, it's just a hard look. That Chewy pulled back $1.75, but again, looks in a good spot and setting up super bullish right there. So that's CHWY setting up nice. And Netflix, NFLX. This did pull back. We kind of expected it. Came down $29. We were kind of expecting it regardless of the market. So here's AVGO. This one came down $16. It was in the top and it's pulling back. If it's going to stop itself, it's hard to tell. I'll look at it what it did in the after hours here. AVGO. Yeah, it's just pulling back right there. It is kind of hard to tell if it's exactly going to stop itself. Almost like Google. Google looks like it wants to pull back a little bit and then get cruising again. AVGO's like still up there, not really curled down yet. So we'll have to look and see what it wants to do tomorrow. They could easily bounce back up, and they could easily pull back down more. They're just teetering right there. They're kind of tough to tell. It would be more of like a coin flip right now at this point. So, MU, how about this one after hours? This is why I don't like earnings, because it was crazy. It went down huge in the after hours. What it do? 109 to 112, and it went down to 85 and closed at 87. So, and that was on earnings. I don't know if they were good or not. It is green. I think they did do better than earnings. I'm not sure. I can never know. But yeah, it dipped down pretty hard, way down too. I mean, down to like the hard support line, way down. And yeah, we'll have to see if MU wants to bounce back up and see what it wants to do. So that one might be a great opportunity again. TSM, this one pulled back $5 and right there. And it looks like it's trying to set up super bullish. So it could be a great opportunity. SMCI, another one pulled back like $1.50 something. Nothing too crazy there. SMCI, I mean, it's not looking extremely bullish, but it could be getting set up to get rolling again. So I'll keep an eye on that one for sure. AMD, this one was down 361 and pulling into that bottom. I was actually surprised to see it trying to get into the basement right there. And it could be an easy dip and rip for this one. So, I mean, we definitely have to keep our eyes on all of these. You don't want to jump in them if they're still pulling back, but you definitely want to jump in them if they're making their big bounces and going up. PayPal took a nice dip too, down 541. And yeah, that one came through some supports. It has the 50 down here at 84. So we'll see what happens with PayPal, PYPL. And how about Snow? That one came back $8, and this one could really pull back. So it got under the 20, and there's not much to hold it. So if it wants to pull back, Snow could really dip right there. And how about QCOM? Qualcomm came down 487. It was looking great this morning. It went up in the after hours, but along with everything else, it just pulled back. And another one, it crossed through going down, but could easily pop itself back up and get cruising. So we'll definitely look at them. INTC came down over $1, and Intel's touching the bottom and could easily get bouncing. So again, they're all just pulled back, hitting bottoms and stuff. Whether they want to go down more to that next level, you just can't really tell. They're not giving off any kind of look. None of them are. Disney kind of ran up a little bit today, but then pulled back. So where did it run up to? Because I remember I saw it. 113, it went up to 116 and then came down to 111. So Disney was moving and then it just got smacked down. Oxy was down only 54 cents, and this one's trying to get set up, I'm telling you. So keep an eye on Oxy because it is trying to get set up here. And I would say it's going to have to wait for that. Another couple days is probably ExxonMobil, XOM. This one dipping down a little bit more and still in the basement. So we'll see how much more it wants to pull back there, XOM. And that's ExxonMobil. And how about Mara and Raya, MARA? Let's see what that's up to. Had a nice big pullback, almost $3 today, coming down to that 50 as Bitcoin and everything was. Riot pulled back down $2 to that hard support. That's going to set up more bullish. Oh, excuse me. That's going to set up more bullish. And so that's Riot, RIOT. It still looks decent. MSTR came down almost $40. That might come down to the 300s, guys. So maybe crypto is going to run down. It was up in the after hours. It looks like, let me take a look. MSTR 356. Where is it? Yeah, it looks like a 349 is where it closed. So we'll see if it wants to bounce or if it wants to come down more. It's like I said, they're very hard to tell right at the moment. CLSK, let's just cruise through the rest, pull back to that hard line and could easily try to bounce off it. Coin, COIN, this one down $31, hitting a nice hard support and could easily bounce off of that. So, I mean, you could have great opportunities on every one of these. Trump Media came down quite a bit, 269, hitting the 20 and 50 right there and could easily bounce off of the MACD line. So, yeah, it's they're right there where they could go either way. Fun pulled back. That one was looking great, and it's still going to be bullish. It's just some healthy. It's just some bigger health than healthy, but just some pullback today with everything else. And that's PHUN and Mountain MTN. This came down like $7, so this is going to be a great one to watch pull back and jump into that one when it comes down because that'll get bumping back up. And that is MTN. And McDonald's came down $5 today. And let it pull back now, and then it's going to have to set up to be perfect for it to run. So that'll get pulled back a little bit, run around, and have to set up perfectly to get moving. And good old Boeing, this was down a little bit, but nothing crazy. It actually got up into the top there and just ran itself flat. And it was kind of doing it yesterday. So Boeing wasn't too bad. Not sure how, but probably something going on. So that's why that's good. And Space, SPCE, is down a little bit, and it was looking great yesterday, but it did pull back 38 cents. So we'll keep an eye on Space, see if it wants to get rolling again. And Rivian, this one was down $1, and again, we ran up to 15. I thought it was kind of topped out the other day, and with that kind of pullback, it definitely came back with everything. And how about PLTR finally pulled back, but again, right down to the 20 and went up $1.29 in the after hours. So you better be careful even with that, even when the market's red. Sophie did come down like $1.42. That one looks like it could pull back a little, but I'd still be careful. And Dell, this one pulled back like 561 right down to that bottom. That one was trying to set up there. And just like everything else, that one came back down to the bottom. So we'll have to see if Dell wants to get bouncing right off of there. NKE, Nike was looking good and still kind of looks good. Its earnings are coming up the 19th, which are tomorrow. So it does look good to run, but I don't have a clue with earnings. earnings, so we'll let it do its earnings, and then we'll figure that out. And DXYZ, that one finally pulled back $7, and maybe we're going to see that pullback I thought we'd see down to the 53. So there you go with them bad boys. And let's look at our yin and our yang real quick, and a couple of these guys. If I can type in yin. Yin was down at $1.71. That's going to be setting up to be kind of bullish though over time. And so is the Yang's really bullish right now. Wow, they look crazy. The Yang looks like it's really bullish. I know Laptop Travel did say something earlier about it, but the Yang looks like it wants to run. So that's the China bear. And then the Yin's going to be kind of bullish down the road is what it looks like. So there you go, the yin and the yang right there. And let's look at boil and cold. We did NUGT. That's the gold miners bull, and that is down, pulling back, and dust has been going up, and it is up $5, and it still wants to cruise. So again, they didn't reverse rolls yet, and that's NUGT and DUST. And what else do we want to look at? Gush and drip real quick. Gush is the bull for oil and gas. It's down $1.91. And drip is going to be up there. That's the bear, and it's running up 1191. Its high was 1204. And there you go with that. DFEN. Let's look at DFEN. That's the aerospace and defense bull 3 times. And that pulled way back today. So that's way down as well. And that went, what, 29.13 to 26.42. Is at 27.25. So there you go with them. And there wasn't a whole lot happening on the scanner yet. So we'll have to look at that in the morning. We've already pretty much covered everything. I can promise you. I already looked at it. And so with a red day like that, wasn't a whole lot. Let me take a look at the stock twits and see what we have over here. NUKK to SPY is down. It looks like it's up $1.52 in the after hour, in the overnight. So that's a good look for the SPY. And again, stock twist is pretty accurate, I must say. MU looks like it is down pretty good. QQQ is up $1.30 in the overnight. The VIX is up, but I'm not sure if that's up in the after. It's just up from, I know earlier, VIX. And so yeah, that one did shoot up, and obviously with the that's the short term and kind of like the bear one. So there you go with that. And IWM, that's the Russell. That was down. Yeah, it's like all. Remember I was saying earlier, all the big ones were on here, and something was up. Well, now we know it was up. They were dipping hard, so that's what was up for us. A beautiful thing up. You couldn't. I'm telling you, it was hard to tell what the hell was going on, but there was definitely something up when they were all on there. Now we know what to look for if we see them all trending like that. We'll put our guard way up and hit the VIX up and crush that and knock it out of the park. So there you go, everybody. I would say that's a pretty good market review right there on a red day. We did our crypto and our big caps and our ETFs, all of our list, our laptop list, everything else. Let me make sure I got to everybody else's real quick. And S said Schwab's rolling it out on Thinkorswim. They did a small group in November, another in December, and it'll be available to all in early 2025. So there you go. There you go with that. And we did Drewski. We covered that. Nvidia is up over $2 in the after hours. So there you go. Like I said, Nvidia has been looking good right there and wants to get cruising. So, and I honestly think like MU, I don't know, because that just had its earnings and pulled back, but I have a feeling that one's even going to try to pop back up. And QCOM and some of these other semiconductors, QCOM and ARM are having that dispute in court. So I don't know what happened today, but ARM was down 624 too. And I don't see anything, but yeah, it's they're having a little lawsuit action going on. So all kinds of fun stuff. The only thing that was green was the healthcare sector, United Health Group, UNH. And I know that had taken a big dip not long ago. And again, that's the CEO that got shot. And unfortunately, but yeah, this one's going to be bouncing back up. So you might want to keep an eye on that UNH. And because that looks like it bottomed out yesterday at that 475, and it is at 501, and this thing was trading in the 600s the other day before he I think got shot. So yeah, that one took a big dip after that, and again it's way down here in the fours and just at 5, and it trades up over 600 usually. So that is that one. And like I said, that the healthcare sector was a little green. I don't even know what CJ is or CI. What's that? Let's see what CI is. Oh, Cigna, that's what that is. Yeah, this healthcare group's also looking like it wants to bounce back up. So might have to take a look at all them bad boys in the morning as well. And how about Adobe real quick, Luis Rodriguez, because this was way down. ADBE, and that one came down. Wow, that one's a big dip right down there. That could be a nice one too right now. It's just up $1, it looks like in the after hours or so. ADBE. And yeah, that one's a nice dip right there. And down at like 442, and that one trades in the 500s usually. So ADBE is way down. So there you go. There's a bunch of opportunities, I think. And obviously, we'll be on for pre-market at 7 a.m. and we'll see exactly what's going on. We won't know until then, probably. I mean, we have an idea with the overnight trading, so we do have a general idea of what we're going into. And like I said, I think it was an overreaction. We're going to see some bouncing, is my belief, but it's not telling me exactly it wants to do that. So I won't want to say it's definitely doing it. I'm just telling you what it looks like at the moment. And clearly, I'll be up early to check things out and see what's happening. So hopefully, crypto can get bouncing back up as well, and the market can bounce up. And it was just one of them big overreactions with the Fed and everything else. And hopefully, it was nothing too crazy there. So there you go, everybody. And I hope you enjoyed the show. And Elab's moving. We told that to run yesterday, and it did for us today. So maybe the that other one will run. What is it? TWG. So we'll maybe get that one to run next, because that one's been down there and dipping and kind of looks like it should. So there you go, everybody. I greatly appreciate everybody hanging out as always. Laptop Travel, Profit Logics, and O'Hare's Bastard Child, and Luis Rodriguez, RD, Jennifer Lee, Tommy, Nostradamus, and Bong Prejan, Sherry, Doge, Mama 9, and Roger, Sinead, and Stealth Trader, Jay Kratz, Christian, Sponko, Bruce. We have Bruce DeHaan on, and Exano, and who's that? Abdo Mercel, I think. That's decent. That's an interesting one. And an anonymous trader is on there. And of course, we have Polo 2025, Sean, Alicia is on here. And who else? Kyle Hunt, Tony 90, D-Man, and Patrick, of course, and everybody else that was tuned in and tunes in. I greatly appreciate it. Check out the options video. It's on the YouTube. You can see the Dougie Fresh options strategy, exactly what I do. And it might be really, really good to watch it with these dips, because you know I'm going to be playing these bad boys. They're going to be beauties when they're ready to go back up after this. So take a look at the video. Any questions, hit me up, DM, comments. I answer everything. And there you go. And it says on the 5 news stories, the stocks got clobbered after the Fed decision. Asian stocks retreat. The yen falls as BOG stands pat. I'm not sure. It says why stocks and bonds slump after market volatility soared after the Fed meeting, and the Dow futures are little changed after index drops 1,100 points in 10 straight loss. So yeah, a lot of losing right there on the Nasdaq and everything. A lot of days in a row, I can tell you that. So hopefully that gets reversed and we get cruising. But it was moving up a lot, so you do need to have these pullbacks to go back up. So hopefully this is the last of it. It's a nice red one and they can bounce. So We'll be back 7 a.m. You know that for pre-market. We'll go through our J-Lee's jumpers, our laptop lowdowns, crypto, our big caps, and hopefully we know what's exactly going on and we see things bouncing and we'll figure out what's going to be popping tomorrow, like that NUKK and the other ones that are rolling. So there you go, everybody. Have a great night. I'll catch you guys in the morning. Get some rest, and I'll see you guys at 7 a.m. Have a good night, everybody, and see you in the morning.